Get ready for an intense journey into the heart of one of the darkest and most fascinating stories in the Bible. The 10 Plagues of Egypt. Imagine a world where the waters of the Nile turn to blood, where the very land that represents life and fertility becomes a symbol of death. From a devastating invasion of frogs to the death of the firstborn, each plague tells a critical part of a titanic conflict between Pharaoh Ramses II and Moses, a Hebrew raised among the Egyptians. The Israelites, enslaved for generations, cried out for freedom, and God chose Moses as the voice of his will, but the Pharaoh, in his obstinacy, refused to yield. God's response was a series of devastating calamities, each more terrifying than the last. As each plague was unleashed, tension mounted, and Ramses's resolve was tested in unimaginable ways. The plagues not only challenged the pharaoh's authority, but also struck at the very essence of what the Egyptians considered sacred, proving that God's power was supreme. In each round of disasters, the pharaoh promised to free the Israelites, only to backtrack as soon as the suffering subsided. Blood. When Moses and Aaron approached Pharaoh asking for the liberation of the Hebrews, Pharaoh flatly refused. In response, God turned the waters of the Nile into blood, leading to a crisis of epic proportions. This river was vital to Egypt, life depended on it. With the water now undrinkable and all the fish dead, the Nile, a symbol of fertility, became a source of death. Despite this, the pharaoh's magicians managed to imitate this miracle, leading Ramses to maintain his hardline stance. Frogs. Following the pharaoh's refusal, God unleashed a massive infestation of frogs. They emerged from the Nile and flooded the land, invading homes and causing chaos. While frogs were associated with a fertility goddess in Egyptian culture, this overwhelming presence turned into a significant crisis, further humiliating the Egyptian deities. The third plague brought lice that afflicted both people and animals. God commanded Aaron to strike the dust, and the lice emerged. Unlike before, the magicians of Pharaoh could not replicate this miracle, leading them to recognize God's might as a powerful force. God sent swarms of flies to plague the Egyptians while the Hebrews remained untouched. This demonstrated that God protects his faithful, as the flies caused discomfort and spread diseases among the Egyptians. The fifth plague targeted the Egyptians' livestock, killing horses, donkeys, camels, cattle, and sheep in just one day. Upon investigation, Ramses discovered that none of the Hebrews' animals had perished. This strike was a severe blow to the Egyptian economy, dependent on livestock for food and resources. Boils. God instructed Moses to spread ashes into the air, resulting in boils and sores afflicting people and animals alike. Even the pharaoh's magicians succumbed to these boils, showcasing the power of God over health and illness. Hail. Moses warned Pharaoh of a devastating hailstorm on the way. Those who took heed protected their livestock and servants, while others suffered the consequences. The hail destroyed crops and served as a clear sign that nature was under God's command. Locusts. After another refusal from the pharaoh, God sent a devastating swarm of locusts that consumed any remaining crops. The severity of this plague prompted Pharaoh's advisors to plead for the Israelites' release, yet the pharaoh's anger led to his dismissal of Moses. Darkness. Next, God commanded Moses to hold out his hand to the sky, plunging Egypt into darkness for 3 days. Only the Israelites enjoyed light in their homes. This was a direct strike against Pharaoh, who was viewed as a descendant of the sun god Ra. Death of the firstborns. The final and most devastating plague struck at midnight, claiming the firstborn in every Egyptian household, from the least to the most powerful, including the pharaoh's own son. The Israelites, marked by the blood of a lamb on their doorposts, were spared. This pivotal moment forced Pharaoh to concede and ultimately liberate the Hebrews, who then left Egypt on their journey to the Promised Land. These plagues attacked everything precious to the Egyptians, proving that God is sovereign over all, and that there are no other gods. While some plagues might have scientific explanations, many were clearly miraculous, occurring precisely as God commanded. Did the 10 plagues of Egypt really happen? Historians often view the narrative of the 10 plagues as a myth rather than a historical event. However, many researchers have dedicated themselves to understanding this biblical account, proposing various theories to explain its origins. The fifth plague, which resulted in the death of livestock, has been linked to volcanic activity. One prominent theory suggests that a volcanic eruption on the island of Santorini, around 1600 BC, may have had widespread effects on Egypt, even at a considerable distance. This eruption is thought to have released a substantial amount of ash and toxic materials into the atmosphere. Among the materials expelled by the volcano was cinnabar, a mineral capable of turning the waters of a river, like the Nile, a reddish color, resembling blood. This increase in acidity in the water could have driven frogs from the river, causing them to invade Egyptian homes. The deaths of animals and humans due to the eruption could have allowed mosquitoes to thrive, leading to a surge in adult flies. Moreover, the eruption may have triggered severe climatic changes in Egypt, resulting in acidic rain that would cause sores on humans. The acidity in the grass could have led to the deaths of animals that consumed it, while increased moisture would attract locusts to devastate crops. Finally, this volcanic eruption could explain the darkness that descended upon Egypt, as the sheer volume of smoke would have blocked sunlight from penetrating. The theory also points to evidence of a high number of deaths among the aristocracy, potentially reinforcing the biblical account of infanticide related to the plagues. Ultimately, the narrative of the 10 plagues of Egypt is not just a matter of faith, but also a topic worthy of analysis and debate. By exploring the theories and possible explanations for these events, we open the door to a deeper understanding of the intersection between history, science, and spirituality. Each of us has the right to decide what to believe. What matters is to keep an open mind and seek knowledge, regardless of our personal beliefs. If you enjoyed this video and want to continue exploring intriguing topics like this, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time.